morning, everybody, and I want to say thanks, congratulations to Doug and Adelina for another start to a good show, and I think it's going to be a lot of good information coming. Can you hear me well enough? I'll put it up here a little higher. Okay, the discussion topic that I'm going to be presenting today is the Mazoneña mine, which is located in the La Colorada district. I want to, where does the, okay. I want to say that I have no association with the sources of a lot of my information, which will be the CRM sources for the district of La Colorada, and I have no association with Argonaut, who's actively mining in the district. Okay. Well, the location for the Mazoneña mine is in the La Colorada district. It's about 45, 50 kilometers southeast of Hermosillo, and about 10 kilometers north of La Colorada itself. The concession area covers about 220 hectares, and as many of you know, the terrain is fairly gentle, low relief. The maximum and minimum ranges from about 450 to 650 meters elevation. In the area, the land is all privately owned ranch land, and it's primarily used for cattle grazing. Where's the receiver? Trying to figure out where to point this. Okay. The history of the La Colorada mining district is pretty interesting. It was actually initiated in about 1750 with Jesuit direction for laborers, and they probably took out a significant amount of gold that was available down to a depth of about 30 meters before they ran into water table problems. Later, about 150 years after that, 1880, pumps were available with power-driven motors to allow deepening the mines, which went down to about 400 meters near sea level. The open pit mining began around 1993 when one of Chester Miller's supported companies, Eldorado Mining, began the open pit development, which then shut down around 2002 and was dormant until a company I was associated with, which is Pediment Gold, acquired the concessions and did more development, and later that company was taken over and by Argonaut Gold. The estimated production from the district historically is ranged from 3 million, I think it's probably up to about 4 million ounces, and there's probably still about 1 million ounces to go. So it's a significant gold producer for northern Mexico, one of the big deposits. It's also been a lot of confusion about the type of... ¿Cómo? Yeah, okay. There's been a lot of confusion about what type of deposit is La Colorada. There is some disseminated gold, but most of it is within quartz vein system. Very strong degree of silicification around parts of the veins, where other parts are more confined to the quartz vein system. It's an epithermal, low sulfidation type gold deposit. There are age dates on mineralization that show about a 27 to 28 million year age on the vein mineralization. There are no volcanic rocks that are in that close proximity to that age. There are later volcanic rocks that overlie the mineralization. don't seem to be able to get, there we go. Just going along with the history, this is an old map from 1914. You can see that the veins trend about east-west. The north-south orientation line here on this map has been tilted or transformed about 10 degrees to the northeast. And but the veins actually have a trend of about north 70 to north 80 east, and they've been developed down to a depth of about sea level, 400 meters. Okay. Now the Mazoneña mine has a history that probably is not quite as well prospected as the La Colorada. Mazoneña is a mine probably developed around 1900 with prospects and some shafts. Later, like 1950, some headframe was put up and access to the shaft and some underground development. And underground development continued in the period of the 80s by CRM doing a mineral reserve zone to establish whether or not there was something of interest that they could put out into the market, and they abandoned that after about 10 years of work or holding the concessions. They drilled 13 drill holes, and in the process of developing the underground or sampling the underground mine, they developed with some additional workings and then shipped around 1,400 tons of material. Some of that was very high grade, and the bulk of it averaged about 5 grams of gold and about up to 300 grams of silver. The main development in the mine was a clavo, which has about 80 meters down dip extent. It probably continues beyond that, but their drilling wasn't too successful in picking that up due to several reasons. One was the broken nature of the vein. The width of the clavo, even though the vein extends about 200 to 300 meters to the north and about another 100 meters to the south of where the clavo exists, the main clavo is about 35 meters wide, and the vein averages about a meter in thickness. Most of the exposed material coming out of the mine has oxidized character. A little sulfide came out, but most of it's been oxide. The hanging and footwall in the clavo area consists of a monzonite porphyry, quartz monzonite porphyry, and it's been subjected to some degree of sheeted veining and some stockwork. There also you can see the tons shipped and the grade. Did we go? Okay, this is the first level down the incline shaft of the underground. See, it runs about 100 meters to the north. Oops, we got to go back. The clavo is in the area near the decline portal, and you can see some of I've listed some of the assays compiled along the 40 level, the first level down. The average from the portal north is about 25 meters, is 2.3 grams gold, 172 grams silver. The landing below that in this area where there's another 12 samples reported, averaged 18.4 grams gold and about a kilo of silver. And then far out here to the north, the last 14 meters had 1.16 gram and 146 of silver. Always there's some lead with the mineralization. This details a little more. You can see the continuation down the decline. That previous average was over here on near the portal, but further down, the lowest block is 12 meters of 10.7 grams gold and 190 silver. The ratio of gold to silver tends to be around 100 to 1, sometimes 70 to 1, and it varies both sides of that significantly. Okay, this is a cross section, and the surface is over in this area here with the decline that then hits the landing and then continues on down to a total western extent of about 80 meters. The surface is very close, and you can see to the workings. It may be a maximum of 20 meters deep, and the reason for that shallow character is the vein is followed down in the workings about 10, 20 meters and is offset by a series of faults which are probably around 10 million years post volcanic series in the area that averages about 12.5 million year age. This is the portal, and this was taken several years ago, and it's quite good shape. It looks like it's got a collapsed character to it, but it is good shape. It can be followed down at least 40 meters at depth. The vein trend is north 10 east, veinlets in both the hanging wall and the footwall, and the vein is coming down through here and the footwall over in here. So it's, again, just a bit under a meter thickness there. It's showing some movement on both walls of the vein, and the footwall side of the vein in the quartz monzonite porphyry shows much more extensive development of quartz veinlets. Okay, this is about 100 meters north on the surface. You can see lots of typical rama with a lot of thorns in that area. Usually you'll wind up bleeding from your arms and hands by the time you get through working a day there. The vein itself is in here more fine-grained character, whereas up in here it's a coarser white quartz. I think the better values tend to come out of the finer grained part of it. And with about 1 to 2% lead common in the vein, it's usually got a moderate to low sulfide content. This is the porphyry, the quartz monzonite porphyry that's the host in the area near the portal. And here you can see much more limonite and excuse me, limonite and quartz veining near the extending out from the footwall. And this is another shot of footwall further up the mountain north of the mine site. This is a piece of material rolling out of the footwall further north of the portal as well. See, it's got a lot of quartz veinlets cutting through it. Some of them are larger and smaller, and this will probably only average about 0.5 grams of gold and about 100 grams of silver maximum. Okay, this is a quick shot of the topography. This is the local topography for the mine site here. I got to the right, it's hard to see it, but this is La Colorada down here and the Mazoneña mine site up in here. Okay, and to include with it the topography, this is the aeromag covering the same shot area. La Colorada down in here, you'll see that there's a kind of a significant low magnetic character through this area. There's a little elevated response right in the center because of the late volcanics that covered that area and have been now since cut by block faulting and rotation. Mazoneña up in here where the concession is located. And you see also a similar sort of character. The intrusives that are the main feature of the geology in that area, have probably created a little bit of a magnetic high crossing the area. Okay, so this is the detailed geology, and these would be the veins in the mine site area. There's 3 to 4 other veins that are pretty good size. This one's the Saguaro vein, and in the mines, the Pollo and the Saguaro in this area. Others haven't been prospected very much. Others down here off the concession have some pretty significant alteration with them too, but this is the principal mine area. Also, want to note that the geology here is this intrusive group of rocks, 3 different easily mappable stages. This one with the lettering of RG as a granophyre, basically an aplite looking granitic rock, and it seems to be part of a late phase of this granodiorite seen here and here and further south. The monzonite porphyry, quartz monzonite porphyry, makes up this mountain here, which is Mazoneña, Cerro Mazoneña, and in the closer to the mine site area and up through here, the dike right in there. The andesite surrounding the Cretaceous age of the Tarahumara group, and off to the west, just west, is the Paleozoic metasediments that are pretty highly disturbed. And this details it a little better, particularly to the west. There's a vein to the west outside the project area that's called the Beta Francis. But the interesting feature here is this appears to be a significant fault surface that cuts up through here, low angle dipping to the west. Reverse fault, probably a thrust actually, and a small piece of this rock type sitting up on top of the, as a pendant on the granophyre. The andesite of Cretaceous age is pretty much surrounds the area. It's somewhat curious that the andesite seems to surround most of the porphyries as if, or most of the intrusives, as if the porphyries were intruded as separate bodies in general in this area. Okay, this will take us to the CRM published quadrangle map. This shows also the concession area, and they've put together the intrusive complex in here. The east side, the Tarahumara andesite, and the Paleozoics to the west. Excuse me. Look, maybe I need my glass of water. The Colorada district down here, the main Colorada district, is also situated in Paleozoic sequence through here. You see the Paleozoic coming back in up here. Also on the west side here are a significant number of fault blocks of rotated Miocene volcanics called the Lista Blanca group, and they're dated pretty well at around 12.5 million years. Just beneath the rhyolitic volcanic is an andesite that doesn't outcrop very well, and it's very irregular, and it's dated at 23 million years. So it's quite a break between the two layered volcanics that are both Miocene. Okay. And this is just a quick shot of the same thing with the showing that up in here there's just a few fragments of Paleozoic showing up that are pendants over the top of the granitic body that's sitting in between Mazoneña and La Colorada. Now, you know, I mentioned earlier a thrust fault setting, and many people I've talked to say there's no thrust fault in there, but there's pretty well mapped thrust faults in the Torres Quadrangle to the west. And this is the La Colorada Grand Central pit area. You can see, I think, some of the veins showing on there. But this unit right here is a rhyodacite with quartzite, and you see it comes around here, and then further out there's andesite to the north. This is the town site of La Colorada. And in this area here is Paleozoic. The Paleozoic, again, is sitting on top of the Cretaceous rhyodacite andesite sequence. And so it's pretty clear that there is a thrust fault relationship in the La Colorada mine area. And you see it repeated in the the Crestone pit area too. Again, here's this just shows the vein trends in the La Colorada district, pretty much followed by the pits. Okay, go back to Mazoneña area. These are the rhyolite units of about 12.5 million years. This is about 500 to 1,000 meters south of the Mazoneña mine. And what I'm seeing here is about a 40-degree tilt or rotation of these flow foliation lineations dipping to the west again. And off in the distance, a little harder to see, but the same units just west of the Mazoneña mine area. And the rhyolite is up here, a little bit of andesite underneath, and then the down in the floor here, back to this area, same thing, probably another fault block that's in the basin range episode of that age. Okay, so back to La Colorada. This is a bit of a schematic, but it's got quite a bit of real information in it. Here's the pit of the Grand Central La Colorada area, and I've shown Paleozoic over the rhyodacite and andesite. To the north of La Colorada, the rhyodacite and andesites are generally pretty flat, and in the here you see them maybe dipping more than I think they do. I think they're probably a little more gentle in actual fact. Here, this part of the mountain just west of the pit is quartzite, Paleozoic quartzite, and then going into shales and some probably further over here back to the very highly inclined rhyodacite and andesite. And so this is probably part of a thrust nap coming up here and terminating in the Colorado mine area. La Colorada's veins are a bit atypical, being northeast at about north 70 east, but just outside the perimeter north and south of the mine area, they turn back to a north-south vein trend. This is the rhyolite that's 12.5 million years. This is the andesite that is irregular beneath the rhyolite. Okay, 7. And the intrusives, granodiorite and diorite, which are the diorite very prominent in the pit areas, both pits, has been dated at 71 million years. So all of these rock types through here are older than the vein system itself, which is again dated at about 27 million years. The 23 million year probably reset some of the age dates on the vein material, because I think 2 or 3 showed some 23 million year aged. Okay, back to here we can follow this unit probably up into this area. A small fragment of it showed up over here as the andesite that's just underneath the rhyolite. And further over here at Sombretillo is another similar block. Okay, so here's kind of the basic comparison, and it looks like most of the features are pretty similar. Geochemistry is similar, which is a critical part of it, with gold, silver, lead, arsenic, and mercury showing up in elevated amounts up to 1 to 3 ppm in parts of it near the veins. Generally, the magnelows were good. It looks like laramide thrust faulting because the intrusives cross-cut it. And the alteration tends to be the same, fairly low temperature with clay and some sericite. And the tilting was probably in the late Miocene time after the earlier to mid-Miocene flows covered the area. So bottom line, there's probably some potential at the Mazoneña to develop a resource. We know there's a high-grade clavo, and so the plan is to take it forward with more detailed exploration. This is the mine site that I've spoken of. The portal is just up here, dipping. This is looking a little bit northwesterly, so the vein is coming across through here and then on up the hillside. So it's dipping west right under this old house area. So I guess that's the fin. The turtle didn't make it too far up the hillside. He was found up in that area. So any questions? I think I 1 minute, 2 minutes ago. But thank you.